expected to come out of the visit. Let's now take a closer look at the India-Japan ties as economic trade is concerned and how exactly the trade can be decoded. To put it in fact very precisely, let's look at the total trade that the India and Japan have. It is at $21 billion evaluation, and then this is about the India's export to Japan, which is $5.1 billion, and then the rest was how much imports that India have from Japan. Now, when we see of the exports, let's first talk about the engineering goods, which is valued at $1.92 billion. And when we speak of the other sectors, which is the organic and inorganic chemicals, which is evaluated at $881.45 million. In the graphic, you can see how different in fact the representation is as marine products and gems and jewelry is concerned. The marine products are in a total net worth of trade approximately over $400 million, while the gems and the jewelry is nearly $261 million. As we see that the marine products are at a higher end than the gems and the jewelry in the trade. Let's move forward, and now we have electronic goods as well, and we also have the drugs and pharmaceuticals in the trade net with Japan, and both of these evaluation of both of these in the exports of India are majorly at nearly over $200 million, as 247 precisely is the electronic good, and when the drugs and pharmas is concerned, over $241 million is what it looks like, as these are the sectors where India exports to Japan. And if we move forward and see about another exports, that nuclear reactors and boilers, that is at $2.11 billion, and copper, which is at $1.62 billion. $2.11 billion is for the nuclear reactors and boilers to Japan, and rest is in fact in other sectors. Now, the organic and inorganic compounds of the precious metal that also India exports, this is the value there. Iron and steel, another sector, and electrical machinery and equipment. As you can see in the graph, this is the strength of the exports that India deals with Japan in iron and steel and electronic, engineering and equipment. All right, let's now move forward and speak to our guest on the kind of trade deal and the trade and economic partnership that India does in fact foster with Japan. All right, joining me live on the broadcast is Ms. Shruti Dasgupta, who is a foreign affairs expert, and Mr. Akash Jindal, who is also an economist, joining me live on the broadcast. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me live. Now, when we see about the trade and the economic relationship that India has with Japan, Ms. Shruti, I would like to start the discussion with you about what is the very critical sector in your understanding that is expected to have a good boost if this relationship with Japan, as India exports a lot of material in many sectors that we have just spoken about, gets a big push as well, and also gets in a big manner gets a very big boost if we speak of fostering the relationship.
As you've mentioned in your report earlier, I believe the semiconductor industry would be a very big boost that is going to come towards India, not just in terms of economic, but also in terms of technology exchange, as well as, if I say, development of future trades, not just with Japan, but with other nations as well. I believe that is one, and the other one that I would like to focus on is the Suzuki motor plant that was recently in focus when PM Modi visited Gujarat, and now we know that Suzuki itself is planning a $6 billion investment on its own, $8 billion investment on its own towards this particular sector in India itself. So these are really big numbers or really big sectors that are going to probably make sure that offset any of the tariffs or any of the other trade routes that are going to impact the economy of India. And Japan is, although Japan is not, India is not Japan's top three, exporters to Japan. So We hope that this is going to increase, this trade relation is going to build, and Japan will be open to the textile and the other industries that are being impacted right now by the tariffs that has been implemented on the 27th of August.
Ms. Shruti, in fact, very rightly said. I understand the points that have been highlighted by you in terms of the semiconductors industry as well. And to also shed more light on it, I have Mr. Akash Jindal joining me live on the broadcast. Thank you, sir. Now we speak of the fact that Japan, as per reports, is going to double the investment target in India, about to $68 billion. How does that mean for India? What are your interpretation about the economic sector and the very small sectors that are yet to also get a big boost, as now Japan has also categorically decided upon increasing the investment in chips, AI and in other much broader and larger sectors in India?
See, what it means simply is India would have higher GDP growth, India would have higher employment numbers, India would have higher income tax collection, and we would have higher GST collection. Because Japan and us, we have been having very good business relationship for the past 10 years, and it has been a very fruitful tie-up with Japan in various companies, various sectors, and there are a lot of synergies. See, Japan today, that is an economy which is not showing growth. Japan, if you take the data, January to March of 2025, they had negative GDP growth, whereas India is the fastest growing economy amongst major nations. So today, Japan has money which it wants to invest, Japan has technology, Japan has know-how, whereas India is the land of growth. So I think this is a great synergy between Japan and India. They can share us their expertise, they can invest money, whereas India is the place where they can get lots and lots of opportunity to grow. 7.4% has been our growth rate, January to March of 2025, and post-corona, post-2020, India has been the fastest growing economy amongst major economies. We have been growing much, much faster in comparison with US, China, Germany. We are already the fourth largest economy. Japan was earlier, now Japan is the fifth largest economy. So I think lots and lots of synergies are there which can be shared with Japan. Japan is an economy which has very, very less rates of interest. So that also something which suits us because India has decent growth. India offers decent.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Mr. Akash, as we speak of the major boost in the private sector from Japan, all right, Ms. Shruti Dasgupta continues to be with us as well. Now, there is also another dimension where I would like to seek your comments from. Ms. Shruti, the two governments are also going to launch an economic security initiative. That is a new bilateral cooperation framework to also address the economy and economic security challenges, rather, such as ensuring stable supplies of the critical materials and guaranteeing the safety of the core infrastructure. Now, if we speak of this, how do you think this is also going to aid into the into also resolving the challenges that comes for the security for both the nation?
Well, Japan and India, as Jindalji just pointed out, have had very good business in the last 10 to 11 years. This visit is now the 8th visit of PM Modi. That shows you how much importance India is placing on Japan as a partner. So this economic security guarantee that we're trying to input into this entire equation, and it ensures that nobody is able to kind of arm twist the other partners and ensure that somebody else's trade route is choked. So these are aimed at both, I think, in my opinion, at USA as well as China, where they are using trade to control the narrative of geopolitics and power dynamics of the world. So they are trying to ensure that the nations that India is currently partnering with, they are able to continue their supply routes, ensure that the trading routes and partnerships are not impacted by other outside regions. Here, the most important part comes is, as I've said, semiconductors and also rare earth elements and minerals. Of course, Japan does not does not control much of the market, but it can probably be a secondary trading partner against the threats that come towards from China. So while India is testing waters with the Beijing cooperation that we are about to have in the upcoming SCO summit, and we are leaning towards Moscow and being troubled by the tariff tantrums, Japan is having a security guarantee with Japan ensures that we will have more larger say in the Quad relationship also, where India, Japan, Australia and USA cooperate towards the security of the entire Indo-Pacific region. So here, when we have partnerships with Japan in terms of economics, we understand that USA will not be able to bully India in the Quad relationship as well. We've had the Australian FM also come out in support of India and its tariff and against the tariff tantrums that we are currently suffering. So we understand that this puts us in a larger, more, it puts us in the driver's seat in terms of how we deal with economies and democracies that are trying to ensure that the world dialogue as compared to trade, as compared to economies, is not controlled by the power of one particular nation.
Absolutely. As in fact, Mr. Akash Jindal also continues to be with us, it is important to highlight some facts here. And when we speak of this relationship in the Asian subcontinent, now the new investment plan also highlights largely that the current Japan's plan of investing 5 trillion yen over the 5 years has been extended. It was announced last time in March 2022 by then Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, and now it is also eyeing to double down that plan. Now, Akash Jindal, who continues to be with us, sir, I want to understand from you how exactly Japan's interest, or rather we should put it like the two nations who are in a direction where the mutual interest is garnering more admiration for both the nations. It is also going to play a very crucial dominance over how India's trade ties with other countries, in particularly West, given the kind of tariff threats that have come. How is that going to be impacted, given that Japan also controls a lot of imports as well?
The last component is very, very important here. It's very important for us with the way US is going about. I think we need a strong trading partner today. Japan is one strong trading partner which can definitely be there with India, and both the economies have a lot of synergy. See, what has been US saying? US now is saying that India has been purchasing oil from Russia, whereas China has been purchasing higher quantities of oil from Russia. EU has been purchasing higher quantities of gas from Russia. So what it means is Russia anyway is getting funded by these countries. Now America is blaming India. And now what is US telling? That if India doesn't buy oil from Russia, because they've levied tariffs because we are buying oil from Russia. Now if the logic is simple, if we stop buying crude oil from Russia, what is that we are going to do? We may purchase it from the open market. What would happen is inflation would increase, which would negatively impact the global economy, including US economy. And US is also not able to make its point. Initially, when reciprocal tariffs were levied against India, US said it was because India had high tariffs. Now all of a sudden, US has come out with a new theory that look, India is buying oil from Russia. So the sort of relation, the sort of things US is doing, we need some strong trading partner, and Japan could be one. Don't forget, some years ago, Japan was the second biggest economy. It has been a powerful economy, robust economy till mid-80s. It was a very powerful economy, and Japan has the potential of again being a big economy. Plus, they have know-how, they have expertise, they have lots and lots of money which they can export and which they can invest. And the rates of interest in Japan are very, very lesser. So I think, yes, it's the question is very right. I totally endorse you that, yes, it could be a reply by India that now the way US is doing what it shouldn't be, we have to tie up with other partners, and Japan could be one partner. And if you see a track record of past 10 years in Japan, the track record has been wonderful. Track record has been very good. Japan, for bullet train, which has been a huge and ambitious project of India, they have given money to us at 0.1% rate of interest. Now just compare it. What China did when they lent money to Pakistan. China lent money to Pakistan in CPAC at 3.86% rate of interest, which is a laughable rate of interest. But with India and Japan, we negotiated terms with them, and the rate of interest was 0.1% for our bullet train project. So Japan has been a good trading partner. And of course, we have to be cautious. We have to negotiate the terms. We have to watch our interest, because in business, nobody does charity. We have to be very cautious. We have to be in a very strategic manner. We have to be doing very huge manner. But ultimately, going down the lane, I think Japan would prove to be a very good partner, because Japan needs growth. They lack growth. India is the land of the great. India is the land of the growth. And it's not that Akashindal or Akashindal.in are saying that. You see, since 2020, our GDP growth, has any of the countries smashed us? This is your example. Now, US, what they have done is, after the start of Russia-Ukraine war, US, for 2 quarters, it had negative GDP growth.
All right. Mr. Akash Jindal and Ms. Shruti Dasgupta, thank you very much, both of you, for joining me this morning live on the broadcast and putting emphasis